Hello guys, till last class what we have covered process management, process control block, CPU scheduling criterias, process synchronization, and in the last class we just covered classical problem of synchronization. Okay, so till now we have covered up to process synchronization. Now come to the next topic, which is deadlock. So today we are going to start deadlock, and it is a very interesting topic. You must understand it because it is something related to the system, how system is providing resources to the requesting processes, right? So as the name suggests, it is some type of lock which is dead. And what dead means, which is unlockable, right? Unlockable, or we can say unbreakable. Unbreakable in the general meaning, if we want to understand deadlock, what it means, it is some type of lock which is dead, or we cannot open it, right? That means it is a continuous lock, or in other word we can say it is a continuous lock which cannot be breaked. So this type of condition, where due to some engagement of the resources or any requesting element, requester processes or users are somehow logged into the condition where they cannot break this continuous looping, right? This continuous locking, right? That scenario is referred as deadlock, right? Deadlock. So whenever we are unable to break a lock among multiple users or processes due to some engagement or some nature of engagement of the resources, we can refer them as a deadlock. But we cannot say that every condition which are in waiting process, or every processes or every user which are in waiting state is always be in deadlock, right? So in terms of operating system, how we can define it, we can define this situation as a deadlock is a situation when a process or when a process or set of process set of processes is blocked or waiting for some resources that is that is held by some other waiting processes, right guys? So in terms of operating system, we can define a deadlock as a situation where a process or set of process is blocked or waiting for the resources that are held by some other processes. See why this will happen, because see in the system in the system we have limited resources, right? And we are not sure about, see, in the system we have limited resources. It is clear, right? Because we do not have unlimited resources. Unlimited resources. See, if we have 1 GB of RAM, that means we have 1 GB of RAM. We are not having unlimited RAM in the system, right? So that means in our system, in physical system, we have limited resources only, right? One. Second reason of creating deadlock is we are not sure about demand demand of resources. Resources, or you can say requester of resources. And who are the requesters of resources? They are our processes, right? So because we have limited number of resources, and there can be a unlimited demand of those resources, because who are the requester processes, in our case processes are the requesters. So we cannot guarantee that in at some time of in at some instance of moment, or at some point of moment, how much demand we will get for those resources, right? So as a resource manager, OS will be in difficult position if our demand will be greater than supply, right? Supply, number of resources, right? So in that condition, as a resource manager, OS will uh, allocate allocate resources as per its optimized level. It will try to it will always try to allocate resources in optimized manner, right? So even if it is efficient, our operating system is efficient enough to allocate resources up to the optimized manner. Of even this, there will be a possibility of always there will always be a possibility of deadlock, because sometimes when the demand of that particular resource and requester of that particular resources are far greater than the supply of those resources, that will lead to the possibility of deadlock always, because sometimes multiple processes are wait or will wait for a resource which are engaged by some other resources, and those resources who has engaged those processes who has engaged those resources also waiting for the resources uh, whose are engaged by some other waiting process, right? So that's why the deadlock will happen in the system. See, we will understand it by one example. Let us say we have let us say we have two processes, P1 and P2. Now, and we have two resources, R1 and R2. Resource will be indicated by encircled, and processes will be indicated by square, right? So let us understand the deadlock condition. See, in our example, we are having two processes and two resources, and the condition is such that P1 wants, or we can say wish for resource R1, but at the same time R1 is engaged by process P2. In the same way, P2 wishes for R2, but R2 is engaged by P1, right? So this condition is deadlocked. How? See, P1 wants R2 for completion of its task, right? But but R2 cannot be granted to it because it is already engaged by P2, right? And again, and P2 wants or wish for resource R2 for completion of its job, but R2 cannot be granted to it because it is already engaged by P1. So this circular waiting process is creating deadlock here. So it is a one type of simplest example of deadlock where two processes are waiting for resources which are engaged by each other, right? And both are not ready to release that particular resource, right? That's why this creates a deadlock condition here, right? So this can be considered as a deadlock, right? So what we have created here, this is called as RAG, right? So we understood it with RAG, which is resource allocation graph. Resource allocation graph, right? So this is the very efficient method to understand deadlock condition, right? To identify the deadlock condition in, but only in case we will use RAG only in case we have in case we have only one instance of any resource type in the system, right? If we are having a single instance of every resource type in the system, then we can use RAG. Then RAG can identify the deadlock in the system. But if we have multiple instances of the same resource type in the system, then this RAG will not get the accurate result or will not detect the deadlock. So let us first understand how our RAG has been created, right? So let us understand first notations of notations of RAG, right? So RAG will consist of by RAG will have vertices and edges. It is the combination of vertices and edges, right? And vertices will have two types. One vertex will represent process, and other type of vertex will represent resources. Like generally we will use a circle for processes and box for or rectangle for resources, right. So these are the two types of vertices we will have in the RAG. One type of vertex represent process and one type of vertex will represent our resource type, right? And in case of edge, a RAG consists of three types of edges, two, three. One is named as request edge, which will be represented as an arrow heading towards resource from process. An arrow headed from a process to resource. This will be represented as a request edge, or this will be named as request edge. That means process P1 is requesting a resource R1, right? So it will be represented as P1 forward arrow R1, right? Second type of edge we will have will assignment edge, right? Which will be represented as R1 forward arrow P1, which is representing that resource R1 has already been assigned to process P1, right? Okay. Next one is claim edge. Claim edge. Claim edge will be represented as dotted arrow, forward arrow from process to resource 1. That means P1 has claimed resource R1. But in major RAG, you will see these two types of resources most of the time. But if we get into the details of the RAG, then you will know that there will be a claim edge also, right? So using these notations, we will first create a RAG resource allocation graph for the system using number of processes available in the system at that time and number of resources or resource types available in the system, right? And after that we will check any loop there, right? We'll check any loop there. If there is that RAG, let us say P1 R1 P2 R2 P3, this is an example, right? P3 R3, right? So let us say we have created RAG of RAG of RAG of this system, RAG of the processes and resources in the system at time stamp T0, and we got RAG something like that, something like that, something like that. Then we will check the cycle here. If there exists a cycle, if there exists a cycle, let us say we'll check. See, this arrow is going here, this arrow is going here, this arrow is going here. uh, let us this this arrow cannot be here because it is resource to resource, right? And in the similar way, it is this resource to resource cannot be possible. So let us say we have arrow such that something like that, right? So if we have cycles in our RAG, let us say we have created RAG of any system at this time T0, and we got the RAG something like that, and we will search for the cycle. If we will get cycle, let us say, see, in this case there are cycles. How? This is a cycle. See, resource R1 is engaged by P2, and P2 wanted resource R2, but it is engaged by P3, and P3 want R3, and it is engaged by P2. So this is a cycle, right? So if we are getting, once we created, see, once we create an RAG of system, and we if we find cycle in it, if our RAG has cycle, if we find cycle in RAG, it will be considered as cyclic RAG. Else it will be a cyclic RAG, right? There will be two cases, whether either your RAG will be cyclic or acyclic. See, if you found your RAG cyclic, acyclic, that directly means it directly signifies or signify that your system has no deadlock, that no deadlock in the system. This will signify that no deadlock is in the system. But if your RH is cyclic, it will signify there or may not may not deadlock. See, if you have a cyclic RAG, that directly means that there is no deadlock in the system. It is right. But if you have a cyclic RAG, that means there is cycle, like in our example, we had a cycle in the RAG of a system. That means there may or may not, there will be 50-50% chance. There will be 50-50% chance 50-50% chance of being deadlocked or not deadlocked, right? So there may or may not be deadlock. So by using RAG, we can identify, or we can check it for deadlock or not, right? But this is applicable only in case the requirement of RAG is will be that there should only one instance of any resource type in the system. What it means? It simply means every resource type. Let us say we have a resource type monitor. So there should not be more than one instance. One instance means more than one value of monitor, right? Similarly, if we have printer, then there is only one printer, not more than one, right? But in case let us say, for example, in the other way, if we have 10 monitors as a resource, that means we have resource type monitor and we have 10 instances of that monitor, right? In the similar way, if we have 10 printers in our system, that means we have resource type printer. We will identify printer as a resource type, and number of printers or count of printers are number of instances instances. Now I think you got the point, that what it means, number of instances of particular resource type. Now you got the point. If in your system you have only one instance of every resource type, then only your RAG will help ROG can help you to find any deadlock condition in the system. But in case this is not the case, and you have multiple instances of the resource types, multiple instances of every resource type or some resource type in the system, then RAG cannot help in this case. Then we will go for the algorithm part, right? We will we will create, then we have to find some algorithm, or we have to create some algorithm in this case, right? So what so this is for theoretical part, right? But oh, for managing this deadlock, or checking the deadlock condition, or we can say avoiding the deadlock and avoiding this type of deadlock condition, really in real time operating system maintain a table which is referred as system table, or sometimes system pool, which is the system table or system pool, which is the table of resources in the system. It is a table of resources available in the system with their current state. See, operating system maintain a system table, which is having name of the resources and status of that particular resource, so that whenever a new process demands some resource from the operating system, then it will check its system pool for that resource. If that particular resource is available, then only it will allocate it to that particular demanding processes. Otherwise it will not allocate. Why it is doing so? Because so that there will not happen any deadlock in the system due to inefficient allocation of that particular resources, right? So let us check. uh, our system pool will look like this, where it is having resource name and its status. See, let us say it has R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, dot 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 R N, right? So let us say for time t0, the system table is looks like similar to it. At time t0, let us say R1 has engaged. Engaged means it is written as tick, right? Tick means engaged. Tick means engaged by someone, engaged, and cross means free, right? And this is the smallest view of a system table. Otherwise system table contain many things, many attributes or parameters. We have only three parameters: status and engager, or who has engaged it. Let us say R1 has engaged by P3, R4 has engaged by P2, and Rn is engaged by P1. Let us say at time t0, timestamp t0, resource R1 is engaged by P3 currently, and R4 is engaged by P2, and Rn is engaged by P1. Let us say, right? So whenever, let us say at time t1, a new process P4 came and demanded let us first demanded first case, it demanded R1, right? But when what at that time, in this case, operating OS will look up in system table and check if R1 is free to and or not, but R1 is engaged. R1 cannot be granted at this time. That means P4 must wait until it gets released, right? And second case, if let us say if it has not demanded for R1, it has demanded for R2, then OS will do the same. It will look up for in the system table for R2, and it will find R2 is free. That means R2 can be granted to the system, that particular process. That means P4 start execution execution, right? So in this manner, operating system is managing its resources and their status, right? So it will not use RAG because it will not create RAG in the system, right? It is the graphical representation, and our system doesn't use graphical representation. So RAG is useful in the theoretical cases, right, where we human can understand it, right? But in the system, operating system will, how operating system will avoid or ensure prevention from the deadlock condition, it will simply create a system table, right? It uh, it it create a system table, and in the system table it has updated their status, that resources status of those resources which can be demanded by any running or upcoming processes in the system, right? So let us say we have a resource we have n resources R1 to Rn. It will make a table of R1 to Rn and their status, that it has been engaged or not. Like in case of R1 and R, you can see in the table, R1, R4 and Rn has been engaged by P2, P3 and P1. That means at this point in time, if any process demands R1, R4 and Rn, that means it cannot grant these resources at this point in time. But in case if after 1 second, if these one of these resource has been freed, let us say R4 has been released from process P2. Now if this process at this point in time is, if this process wants R4 for completion of its job, then it can be allocated by the operating system. So by using system pool or system table, operating system helps himself only, because using this system table only, it got to know that which are the processes which are free and which are the processes which are engaged, so that it will allocate only free processes to the requesting processes. But in case of any demand for the engaged processes, that particular requester or that particular process who has requested that resource which are being engaged by any other process, needs to wait until and unless that particular resource has been released from the engagement process, right? So I think this introduction of the deadlock and why it is happening in the system, what are the conditions we are having when deadlock happens, we have discussed it here. And how operating system managed or ensures that these processes are free or these processes are engaged, and ensures avoidance and prevention from the deadlock condition. And in theory, how RAG can help us to find deadlock in the system, we have defined it. I think you all are now got my point, and this introduction, very small introduction of deadlock, is clear to you now. If any doubt, if you have any doubt, you may ask now, right? Okay, that's all for the day. Thank you.